All right, so get this.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about predicting the future,
Okay.
but not like,
Well,
fortune teller stuff.
Yeah.
You sent over this paper about using machine learning
Right.
to like actually forecast
Uh-huh.
which scientific research is going to be
Okay.
a biggie deal
Yeah.
years before it even gets published.
It's really wild.
It is wild.
It's using AI and big data to kind of map out where scientific knowledge is headed.
So it's like instead of playing catch up,
Yeah.
we're getting like a sneak peek at
Exactly.
what might be winning Nobel Prizes
Yeah.
down the line.
Yeah.
And this paper specifically dives into optics and quantum physics.
Exactly. It's like having a cheat sheet for where cutting-edge physics research is going.
Okay, so the paper kicks off by talking about something that I think a lot of us can relate to,
Yeah.
which is just information overload.
It's a huge problem.
It is. It feels like
Yeah.
every day
Yeah.
there's like a zillion new studies coming out. Millions.
Yeah.
How is anyone supposed to keep up, let alone find
Yeah.
the truly groundbreaking stuff?
This paper looked at over 21 million scientific papers.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine with that
Nora.
much information out there? It's
It's
just
overwhelming.
Yeah. Researchers just end up focusing on these really specific areas, and it can make it really hard to spot connections
Right.
and potential collaborations outside their own little niche.
And traditionally, we've relied on things like citation counts
Right.
to figure out what research is making waves.
Yeah.
But that only works after the fact.
Right. It's like looking in the rearview mirror.
Exactly.
Those methods tell us what was important,
Yeah.
but they don't give us a roadmap for the future.
Right.
And this new method is all about predicting impact while an idea is still brewing.
Okay, so how do they do that? I
Well,
kept seeing this term
Yeah.
knowledge graphs.
Knowledge graphs.
And I'll be honest, it sounded a bit intimidating.
I know they're actually pretty cool once you kind of wrap your head around them.
Okay.
Imagine a giant web connecting different scientific concepts.
Okay.
Each concept is a node, and the lines between them, the edges,
Uh-huh.
represent how often those concepts appear together in research papers.
Okay, so like if two concepts show up together in a bunch of highly cited research, that connection on the web would be like extra thick.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay.
That thickness represents the weight or impact of that connection.
Okay.
And the whole web, the knowledge graph, is constantly evolving as new research comes out.
I'm starting to get the picture here.
Okay, good.
But how do we go from this giant web to actually predicting the future of science? That's where the machine learning comes in, right?
Exactly. They train a neural network on all the historical data from the knowledge graph.
So it's like, hey, computer, look at all these past connections
Yeah.
and figure out like the secret sauce
Yeah.
for groundbreaking research.
And the crazy thing is it actually works. The model is super accurate at separating the huger stars from the rest.
Wow.
We're talking an AUC score that's area under the ROC curve
Oh, okay.
of over 0.9 for most experiments.
Okay, break that down for me. What does an AUC of 0.9 actually mean
Yeah.
for a researcher in the real world?
So imagine you're a researcher trying to decide what project to pursue.
Okay.
It's like having this tool that can point you towards
Okay.
the research avenues that are most likely to make a splash.
Got it.
This level of accuracy could even change how funding decisions are made,
Oh, wow.
directing resources toward the ideas with the highest potential.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So it's not just some theoretical exercise.
Yeah.
They actually put this model to the test.
They did. They gave it data up to 2019
Yeah.
and had it predict impact for the years 2019 to 2022, and it aced the test,
Wow.
even predicting the success of research it had never even seen before,
Yeah.
proving that it's actually learned how science evolves.
Okay, so this thing is legit.
Yeah.
But enough about the cow. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the
Yeah.
what kind of game-changing connections has
Yeah.
this model predicted?
Well, the top prediction overall
Okay.
was a link between renewable energy and cancer cells.
Renewable energy and cancer cells.
Yeah.
That's an unexpected pairing.
Right. It just shows how powerful cross-disciplinary research can be.
Yeah.
As we learn more about both fields, who knows what kind of mind-blowing connections
Right.
and applications will emerge.
I'm already intrigued.
Oh,
And you mentioned something about personalized predictions too.
Yeah. The model can be tailored to specific scientists or research groups based on their current work and expertise.
So if you're a researcher,
Yeah,
imagine being able to see which paths in your field
exactly.
are most likely to lead to those high-impact publications.
It's like having a personal scientific GPS guiding you towards
Yes.
the most promising research routes.
Exactly.
And the predictions can get incredibly specific. For instance, for someone working in experimental quantum optics and biophysics,
Okay.
some top predictions included combining microfluidic channels with Kerr resonators
What?
or linking SARS-CoV with quantum-enhanced sensitivity.
Wow. I'm not even going to try to pronounce those.
Wow.
But it sounds like we're talking about some seriously
It is cutting edge.
cutting-edge stuff.
That's the beauty of this technology.
Yeah.
It can help researchers spot those game-changing connections they might otherwise miss.
Right.
Like a treasure map
Yeah.
leading to the scientific breakthroughs of tomorrow.
Okay. I'm officially hooked.
Yeah.
This is blowing my mind wide open.
I know, right? And it makes you wonder what incredible discoveries are just waiting to be unearthed.
I'm already thinking about all the possibilities.
Yeah.
But how do they actually visualize these potential breakthroughs?
Right.
We're talking about more than just lists of concepts, right?
Yeah, that's what we'll dig into next, how researchers are using these predictions to create visual maps of scientific potential.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Okay, so you mentioned visualizing these breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Are we talking like some super futuristic science movie stuff here?
It's not quite holograms, but yeah, they're using graphs to create visual maps of these concept pairs.
Okay.
It helps researchers spot those hidden gem ideas,
Okay.
the ones that might not be obvious just from looking at lists of concepts.
So it's like taking that massive web
Yeah.
of connections and turning it into something you can actually
Yeah.
explore visually.
Exactly. Researchers can look for specific patterns and combinations that signal high impact potential.
Okay, walk me through this. What am I looking for on these graphs if I want to spot the next big thing?
One thing that really jumps out is when you see a concept pair with low similarity but high predicted impact.
Okay.
So that means these concepts are coming from totally different research areas,
Yeah.
but the model is saying, hey, if you connect these dots, you could be onto something big.
It's like those aha moments when you realize two seemingly unrelated things actually have a ton in common, and bam, innovation happens.
Exactly. And sometimes the model highlights pairs with low prominence but high predicted impact. That means these concepts haven't gotten a lot of attention yet,
Yeah.
but they have huge potential.
So it's like unearthing those hidden gems, those dark horse ideas
Right.
that could revolutionize a field.
This technology could help researchers break free from the current trends and explore those less traveled scientific paths leading to some truly groundbreaking discoveries.
This is making me think about all those scientific revolutions throughout history.
Right.
Like when people suddenly realize, hey, maybe the Earth isn't flat after all.
It's true, and this kind of technology could help us challenge conventional thinking and uncover those paradigm-shifting ideas even faster.
It's mind-blowing to think we could be on the verge of like a new era
Oh.
of scientific discovery, all fueled by the power of data.
It's incredibly exciting.
It is.
But even with all this potential, it's important to remember this particular study focused on optics and quantum physics.
Right, so we can't assume this will work perfectly for every single field of science.
Exactly. It would take time to build knowledge graphs and train the models for other areas of research.
Makes sense. So more data, more research, more time are needed to see how well this translates to other scientific disciplines.
Absolutely. Another thing to keep in mind is that this model uses citations as a measure of impact.
But isn't that a bit limited?
Yeah,
What about those groundbreaking studies that take a while to be recognized?
that's a great point.
Sometimes the most impactful research isn't immediately embraced by the scientific community.
Citations are an important metric, but they don't tell the whole story.
Yeah,
There are other factors that contribute to scientific value,
right.
things that are harder to quantify, like long-term influence and societal impact.
Like maybe a study helps solve a global crisis decades down the line, but it takes time for that impact to be fully understood and acknowledged.
Exactly, but even with those limitations, this study is a huge step forward in our ability to predict and guide scientific research.
I agree.
It's like having a powerful new tool in the scientific toolbox.
I totally agree. This research is definitely exciting, and it seems like the researchers themselves acknowledge there's still room for improvement.
Yeah.
Didn't they mention something about exploring new ways to extract information from research papers?
They did. They suggested using more complex data structures,
Okay.
like something called hypergraphs, to capture even richer relationships between concepts.
Okay, now you're just using big words to scare me.
Sorry.
What in the world is a hypergraph?
Don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds.
Okay.
Think of it as a web, But instead of just connecting two concepts at a time, a hypergraph can connect multiple concepts in a single link,
Okay.
providing a more nuanced understanding of how ideas relate to each other.
So it's like going from a 2D map to a 3D model.
Exactly.
You get a much more complete picture.
The researchers also discussed exploring different metrics for impact, going beyond just citations.
Like factoring in things like real-world applications and potential to address major challenges like climate change or disease.
Yes, it's about looking at the bigger picture and considering the potential long-term benefits of research,
Right.
not just how many citations a paper receives.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're still in the early stages of this technology, but the potential benefits are huge.
Yeah.
It's like we're standing on the edge of something truly revolutionary.
I couldn't agree more. This technology could change how we identify and prioritize research,
Right.
potentially lead into breakthroughs we can't even imagine yet.
This has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Good.
But I do have one question. If we're relying on machines to tell us what research is important, does that mean human intuition is becoming obsolete?
That's a really interesting question. And to be honest, I don't think it's a matter of human versus machine.
Okay.
This technology is all about augmenting human capabilities, not replacing them.
So it's more about humans and machines working together
Exactly.
to push the boundaries of scientific discovery.
Scientists will still need to use their expertise, their creativity, and their critical thinking skills
Right.
to interpret the model's predictions and design research projects.
It's like having a super smart research assistant by your side.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the human researcher is still the captain of the ship.
I like that analogy. It's about using technology to empower scientists, not to replace them. And I think that's incredibly important to remember as we move forward with this type of research.
I completely agree. This technology has the potential to be a powerful tool for good, but we need to make sure it's used responsibly and ethically.
Absolutely. But before we get too deep into the ethical implications, I'd love to hear your thoughts on something else that really stood out to me in this paper.
Okay.
They briefly mentioned the concept of artificial muses.
Hold on, artificial muses. That sounds like something out of a science fiction novel.
It does.
Are you talking about AI that can actually inspire new scientific ideas?
Yes, imagine an AI that could analyze the entire body of scientific knowledge,
Okay.
identify promising research directions, and even suggest specific experiments to test.
Okay, that's both fascinating and a little terrifying.
Right.
It's like having an AI whisper scientific breakthroughs in your ear.
I know it's a wild concept, but it's something the researchers believe is possible.
So we could have AI not just predicting the future of science, but actively shaping it.
It's certainly a possibility, but as with any powerful technology, there are ethical considerations we need to think about carefully.
Like, what would it mean for the scientific process if we had AI systems that could actually contribute to the generation of new ideas?
Yeah.
Would it accelerate discovery? Would it change the nature of scientific creativity?
Those are all great questions, and I think they highlight the importance of having open and honest conversations about the role of AI in science as this technology continues to evolve.
We need to be asking those tough questions now
Yes.
before we find ourselves in a future where AI is calling all the shots.
I agree. We need to ensure that AI is used in a way that benefits humanity and advances our understanding of the world, not just for the sake of progress itself.
This is a lot to process.
Yeah.
Before we wrap things up, is there anything else from this research that really stuck with you?
You know what really fascinates me is that this technology could potentially level the playing field in science.
What do you mean?
Well, right now, scientific discovery is often driven by who has access to the most resources, the best labs, the most funding.
Yeah.
But imagine if any researcher, regardless of their background or location, could use this technology to identify promising research directions.
It's like democratizing scientific discovery,
Exactly.
giving everyone a chance to contribute to the advancement of knowledge.
And that, to me, is incredibly exciting. It could lead to a more diverse and inclusive scientific community with new voices and perspectives shaping the future of research.
That's a powerful idea, and it really speaks to the potential of this technology to not just change how we do science,
Right.
but who gets to participate in it.
Right. I couldn't agree more, and I think that's a really important point to emphasize as we think about the broader implications of this research.
I'm definitely feeling inspired. It seems like we're at a pivotal moment in the history of science.
Yeah.
Where AI is poised to play a transformative role.
Yeah.
But as you said, we need to proceed with caution and ensure that these powerful tools are used responsibly and ethically.
Absolutely. It's up to all of us scientists, policymakers, and the public to engage in thoughtful conversations
Right.
and make informed decisions about how we want AI to shape the future of scientific discovery.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to ponder.
Yeah.
But before we wrap things up,
hmm
I want to hear your final thoughts on what this research means for the future of science and for humanity as a whole.
Yeah, it is pretty profound to think about.
Hmm.
Here we are talking about predicting the future of science.
Right.
But in a way, we're also talking about predicting the future of humanity. The discoveries we make, the tech we develop,
Yeah.
it all shapes the course of history. Science and tech are woven into our lives.
Right.
And AI is about to supercharge that connection for better or for worse.
It's exciting and kind of scary at the same time.
I know, it's...
Like we're unlocking these incredible powers,
Yeah.
but it's a huge responsibility.
It is. That's the heart of it. As we dive deeper into AI and its role in science,
Right.
we have to be asking, what should we do, not just what can we do?
Right.
What are the ethical implications?
Yeah.
How do we make sure this benefits everyone, not just a select few?
Right.
These are questions for everyone, not just scientists.
Yeah, it feels like a conversation we need to be having right now
Yeah.
before things advance so far that we lose control.
I agree. We need to establish ethical guidelines, regulations, especially for sensitive fields like scientific research, transparency, responsibility, safeguards.
Yeah.
These are crucial.
It's a tall order,
Yeah.
but the stakes are just too high to ignore it.
I'm hopeful, though. We've faced tough ethical dilemmas in science before, and we've found ways through...
We can do the same with AI.
Right.
It'll take collaboration, open dialogue.
Yeah.
But I believe we can create a future where AI and science work hand in hand to make the world better.
I like that vision.
Yeah.
A future where AI helps us be better scientists, make more impactful discoveries,
Yeah.
solve the world's toughest problems.
Yep.
That's a future worth fighting for.
It is, and it's within reach.
Yeah.
We just need to keep asking the right questions
Mhm.
and making smart choices along the way.
This deep dive has been a whirlwind.
It has.
We've gone from the nitty-gritty of predicting impactful research to this much bigger picture of AI's role in science and humanity's future.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic conversation.
What has?
And I hope it sparked some ideas and questions for our listener.
Me too. We always love hearing from you. Your thoughts, your questions, keep them coming. This is a dialogue that needs to keep going.
Absolutely. Keep those brains buzzing. And we'll be back soon with another deep dive into the world of science and technology. Until then, stay curious.